So,
Woo!
welcome back to the Beast Game podcast. Today, we are talking about John Wick 4, the brawl for it all, the rage in the cage. Ultimatum has been set down by John Wick that he's coming for everybody. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them all. That he's on his revenge tour and anybody can get it. Nevertheless, this is a long running series. I think it was like 2014 was John Wick 1, 2017 was John Wick 2. Parabellum was 2019, right before the pandemic. And this one is out now, starring Keanu Reeves. The director is Chad Stahelski. I think he was one of
He
the.
directed the first one.
I think he directed all of those, but partnered with somebody else. And he's like a stunt guy. So they all kind of come from that Matrix, pretty much like the Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Resurrection. I think he was doing stunts on that. That connection to Keanu Reeves comes from. I think he had also done some Marvel stuff like Captain America Civil War. Matt.
This movie, all the hyper violence that it has, and for it to be the fourth movie in the series, I was very impressed. I didn't feel that anything was redundant. Unlike previous movies, he just throws a character in there that's brand new that you've never heard of, that's insignificant. It finds a way to create intrigue amongst the characters, as well as giving the table deeper meaning than it previously was. You know, with a lot of fight scenes in other movies, it's fight, fight, fight. But this one actually has repercussions on it, especially in the fourth movie, cited on violence. You would think it'd be hard to find, but they were able to make it happen. I'm glad they actually took the time with the fight scenes and didn't make all of them generic. Down the end, did add extra depth, wasn't there previously. The action scenes, especially with Keanu, was amazing, especially with the nunchucks. I've never really seen him use nunchucks before. Definitely a first for me. And the other gentleman, Continental, was in Japan.
Yeah, it was Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
Man, that was just like an extra layer of intrigue, and thoroughly happy about this movie. Everything from the plot, the storyline, introduction of characters, although I didn't really get the whole point of why Tracker was in the movie other than to throw things off.
Yeah, I have something to say about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I think that I probably would have done differently. Like, what was his whole point outside of just swaying sides? I would have rather had it someone who was either from the past in the movie.
Well,
definitely not Halle Berry, but
I would just say this, that the last time we saw Common, dude was riding the E-train probably up to Yonkers or something. So he was still alive. He could have came back and been that particular character, the Tracker character, the foil character. But go ahead.
I was hoping that I probably would have seen Common in it, because the last I heard was that there was a knife in his throat, and then if he pulled it out, he would die. But I don't think we ever saw him.
Yeah, he was still alive.
I don't know.
He was still alive riding the E-train.
So it would have been nice to see him in there, although I'm pretty sure with the budget of the movie, for as long of a movie as it is, and many of people that were in the choreography, and probably wasn't a possibility. I think that one thing I definitely liked about this movie, as far as the bad guy goes, it wasn't a CGI bad guy, and that's not necessarily a knock on Marvel, as it is most of the movies that's coming out. It's always a CGI monster, air fighting, and it doesn't really have impact. This one actually does. It made you hate the bad guy worse and worse the more he talked, and his attitude, it's his character you just freaking hate. So
Yeah,
really
he had a
enjoyed the
punchable face.
Yeah, he did. So, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Although, did anyone stay for the post-scene credits?
I did not. And that segues into what I got to say, but I'll wait.
Anyone else seen the post-scene credits?
Yeah, I saw it.
And when Mike talks about it, then I'll talk about it too. But I don't know. I really liked the movie. I really did.
All right, let's go to Keith.
All right, I have problems with this movie. One, it was way fucking long. They could have cut an hour out of this movie. That's serious. Y'all know me. I try to like everything for what it is, but oh my God, this movie, it was too damn long. The first act was okay, it was decent. It was a good setup. Second act, that dragged on way too long. Third act is where it picked up, and the action scenes, when they got to Paris, and the action scenes in Paris were where it shined. This is what I'm talking about. But by then, I was fucking tired. And I saw this in a matinee. So I went to go see this movie at 1 o'clock. I didn't leave that movie theater until almost 4:30.
That's what I was telling Matt earlier. Went to
It
the
was too
movies.
long.
I'm like, yo, you should not go to this movie at like 9 o'clock.
No,
Well,
it was
so you
too
get
damn
up.
long. So the reason why I didn't see the post-credit scene was because I had to go to the goddamn bathroom. This shit was too goddamn long, man. At least cut out a half hour. At least give me something. As always, I like the universe. I like the fact that they can just pretty much do just about anything. The way they just kind of added, I think Parabellum added this whole almost royalty type situation in it, and now it's just like you get added later, so you can kind of go anywhere you want with this universe. I thought the ending was a little abrupt, and I don't want to get into spoiler territories, but they didn't really set it up appropriately. At the same time, it was a good send off for everybody. And again, I like the action. I liked a lot of the action. I just felt the movie was way. It was too long. I could have cut at least 45 minutes out of this thing. Character of the Tracker, I understood what they were doing with them. Agree with you, Matt. They would have been better if they had Common pop up or somebody else from the previous films.
Yeah, and it also kind of parallels with the second movie where is that Ruby Rose?
Not really.
I'm just saying there was an aspect of someone following you, even though you're fighting other people. Well, pretty much fighting Common or fighting out of that, whatever that rave party. That someone is just like, oh, look, hey, look, I'm following you. I'm going to be after you. It's not the same, but it's close.
Anyone get a Kingpin vibe on that one dude he fought?
Scott Adkins?
Scott Adkins.
Yeah, you know what? That was funny as hell for the simple fact. Looking at him, I said, hold on, wait a minute. Wait. Is that Scott Adkins in a fat suit?
And he served it, man. He was serving.
Was
I mean,
it?
he was serving that thing. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
Scott Adkins is fucking amazing, man.
if
He is
anything, if this movie gives Scott Adkins his due, gets him mainstream, then I'm all for it. I'll
Yeah.
give this movie a 10 because Scott Adkins has been killing it.
Well, you call Undisputed, all right?
Yeah, Undisputed too. Oh my God, dude. That dude was like, he fucking stole the whole franchise. But
Yeah, 'cause wasn't it Michael J. White at first?
Wesley Snipes, then Michael J. White,
White,
and
and then him.
then he took it over. My last thing is I was going to say Donnie Yen. I actually thought Donnie Yen was blind for a minute. It was just that badass.
But you know what?
He was a good fucking actor. He's a good fucking actor.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Donnie Yen is my shit. That dude played it. His accent is phenomenal. Like I'm not even going to go into it. You want to go see a good action flick, see some good martial arts. Donnie Yen killed it. He kills it every time. So those are my thoughts on this for right now. Movie's too goddamn long, but and that second act dragged, and I mean dragged to the point where I fell asleep a couple times. But I woke back up for that third act, and I'm glad I did.
Jay.
One, I really like this movie, but I gotta agree with Keith. This movie was long. It was long as shit. But the thing is, I enjoyed it, but I did realize it was too long. There were certain things I was like, damn. I mean, it became a comedy.
Well, I think the first action scene doesn't start till about almost half an hour in.
Yeah, right about. Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. There were some comedy pieces in there that maybe I thought was funny. Everyone else didn't find as funny. When John had to go up the steps.
Oh yeah, that third act, that shit was
man. He kept going. He got thrown down the steps. God damn! I thought I was watching The Exorcist because he was going down those steps hard as shit, rolling and rolling. I was like, damn, I feel sorry for the stunt man.
I thought that was Keanu, man. I'm like, God damn.
No. I mean,
I
think he does
That's
majority
a
of
lot
it.
of steps.
There's like almost like 5 flights of stairs.
Right, he does majority of his stunts, but that one, man, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I know he did the driving sequence, suitably impressed, but oh my Lord, hope I'm like, please don't be doing these stunts, man. I do not need to be sad about you dropping, getting your head caved in, some dumb shit.
Yeah, so the movie, like I said, it was enjoyable. I liked the characters, the new characters they introduced. I did not see part 3, so I need to catch up on that. I saw 1 and 2 in this one. Do like the universe. I actually love the universe that they created in John Wick. It's cool. It seemed like it's ever evolving, so they could just build off of stuff and just keep it going. The fight scenes have always been amazing to me for the simple fact they look real as shit. And when I mean they look real, it's not pretty.
Yeah, and
It's
people
not
get
pretty at
injured.
all.
So I think that's
Everybody gets fucked up. John gets fucked up, and plus it's sloppy. It looks like a real fight because real fight is going to have. It's not going to be pretty at all. It's never going to be pretty. There's going to be people falling all over the place, doing whatever they need to do to survive because that's what a real fight is. And I respect the aspect of them doing that because most movies don't do that anymore. It's all about flash and not substance, especially when it comes to action. The one thing I think we're all agreeing on is that even though I like the tracker, I like them, but I'm like, I don't understand your purpose of being here, why you're here. And then also like the little subtle nod, like when he had the opportunity to kill the tracker, he didn't. Instead, he saved the dog. And it all goes back to
that first movie.
To the first movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. It is a little bit too long. they could have cut at least a good 6 flights out of the stairfall. And that would have probably taken another 20 minutes or so. Donnie Yen's a damn beast. Played the blind man very well. He was doing little subtle things, and he had to study.
Yes,
Look like he used his sword to guide him up the steps.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's so much attention to detail. It's fucking beautiful. I love to see shit like that. I love to see shit like that. And you
he
can
was
tell
missing more of the time. He was firing a gun at the sounds where it was like he was just missing like crazy half the time, but then he was
Right.
like at least 2 or 3 of them was gonna catch him. And
he would recalibrate.
Yeah,
he
he
would
was-
recalibrate. And that's why I'm talking about the realistic fights, because you're blind. Come on now. You're not gonna hit every shot. I mean, you may be close because you're using your ears, you're using hearing, you're using all the cues, but you're gonna miss. What you do is recalibrate. And I thought that was very well done. I mean, that's one thing that the Wick series has done very well, and that is the fights. Too damn long though.
All right.
Took off 30 minutes.
So Big Mike said he's going to go John Wick on his ops.
All right, first of all, movie ain't too goddamn long. I was in that motherfucker, felt like I was in there only 90 minutes. And Keith can't talk about too long when I know you sat through motherfucker Avatar, and that shit's 3 hours long.
Avatar was glorious.
Avatar's some bullshit. If you sat through that, you can sit through John Wick and see that in credit too. Don't tell me that.
Avatar was glorious.
Avatar's some bullshit. Stop believing that bullshit. John Wick is exactly what the hell it's supposed to be. That movie is fucking amazing. Keanu might hands down go down as one of the best actors who don't really got to act a whole lot. That dude did The Matrix. John Wick is a fucking beast. Like, the dude's just amazing. The action scenes, fantastic. First of all, Donnie Yen. If people in America, for whatever strange reason, don't know who Donnie Yen is yet, them motherfuckers know now. Tell me that dude ain't act his ass off in this movie.
Oh yeah, that blind man thing. I mean, I believe I thought he was blind. I had his eyes closed the majority of the time.
The concepts they came up with. My man used doorbells to take people out.
Yep.
That shit was beautiful. Like Jay said, the attention to detail. And then Scott Adkins,
Oh, that dude, his props for this one.
bruh, you gonna
Gotta
tell
give
me
it.
that dude ain't like morphed into this fat dude, that character? And then Beat told me he actually learned the card trick. He did that for real.
Damn.
No CGI. He literally did the 5-2s for real. That whole scene. Stunt people went to Hollywood and said, shut up and let us do all the shit we've always really wanted to do. And
Yeah.
put it all on film.
And also,
Yeah.
like, not with a lot of cuts. I mean, particularly with John
Yeah,
Wick.
no quick cut.
I think it was taking 3, like hopping over a fence, and it's like
Mhm.
5 different cuts just to hop over a fence. But go ahead, Mike.
The set pieces, the cinematography was great. The fight scenes, again, amazing. I mean, Jay knows what a Kodagashi is. I don't know if you caught it, Jay, but
Oh yeah, I caught it.
Kodagashi,
Oh yeah.
a dude into an oncoming car.
Yep. I saw that shit.
Bruh,
Oh shit.
the dragon's breath with the overhead shot going through the house like a
Oh
video camera.
yes, yes. That whole sequence was amazing.
Bruh,
I told you Paris is where it was at, man. Paris was the shit.
they were killing it with this movie. Some sadness in the sense that they've left it to where this could be it and it might not be. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, but that's all I'm saying. The tracker, I think his purpose was to more show another aspect of that world.
That someone has a code, and they still kind of believe in that code, and it is about money, but I think that's what his role was.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I mean, was he affiliated? Well, we'll talk about that later. Continue, Mike.
and so, well, the only gripes I did have with the movie. So the way 3 ended, I thought Lawrence Fishburne was going to have more to do with the movie, and he didn't. Because of that, didn't know how to describe it. But to me, the story for this one felt slightly disjointed from the other 3.
So hold on, hold, back up. So in 3, Lawrence Fishburne had a bigger role.
Basically, homeless continental. That's basically
Right.
what
Yeah,
his,
yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's what his equivalent is. And
you saw the second one, right, Jay?
Yeah, I saw the second one. Yeah.
All right, so basically 3, he gets consequences for what he did in the second one. Without giving
Oh, okay, got you.
So that's why 3 becomes kind of vital to all this. Like,
Well,
even
damn, and I
now
missed
that
that
you saw
one.
what happened with Winston, all that has to do with 3 as well.
then
Okay.
Winston tried to warn John, but then also like, hey, look, I'm gonna try to protect you, and that's what the beginning of this movie is. Is that hey,
Yeah, like
right,
Mark,
you
he
let
said
him
he
go,
goes,
but I
don't
shot
know,
him.
but he's still alive.
Yeah.
So Did you shoot him because you were really trying to kill him, or did you shoot him because you knew he was gonna live? Type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So the way it ends, it sounds more like John and Lawrence Fishburne are going toward the table, and that's not how it felt. Because I mean, Lawrence Fishburne's like what 4 scenes, I think 4 or 5 maybe. Yeah, it ain't really
Yeah,
much.
about 5, maybe.
Yeah,
if
he was
that.
at the beginning. He was at.
And that's about it.
Yeah, he was at the beginning. I think he helped him get to France. He was at France, and then
Yeah, he was in France to give him his gear and get him prepped, and then
I think they went
At
on
the
a
end.
boat, and then at the
France
end of the
kicked it
movie.
off, and
Yeah,
So the other ones, the story seemed very tight. This one seemed just kind of, I don't know, it felt almost like kind of studio, like, hey, we need another movie just to give us some shit. They just kind of went with it. All right, figure out whatever, just throw a bunch of action in there. So that was like my only real gripe. Outside of that, like I said, I didn't really have too many other issues with the movie at all. Other than they killed my boy Sonata too quick. I thought he was gonna be in the movie a little bit more.
yeah,
too.
and also I guess one thing needs to be said.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
And he happened to die in the movie too. I'm like, damn.
and the way he died,
Yeah.
that sucks.
So
That was a little awkward, actually. It seems fucked up. This is awkward. I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean that was the
Yeah,
first thing.
seeing
Like as soon as
ballerina.
he died, I was like, oh, I mean, it was already sad
Too soon.
seeing him on screen. Just like, hey, well, this is his. Assuming he probably has a couple more posthumous performances, but this is at least the first one. And then it's like, oh, all right, well, 5 minutes later, you're not even in the movie any longer. Like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
Like,
And he died. And he died and it's just like, damn. Like, I mean, of course they didn't know this shit was gonna happen, but it's just like ironic.
yeah, that's
yeah,
it's
it's
quite
unfortunate,
unfortunate.
very unfortunate. You got anything else?
No, I don't think I have anything else other than I'll see how I feel when I go see it Saturday because we're going to see it again. If I feel differently, I'll let you know, but I doubt it. I'm
All right.
already looking forward to it.
I will say that I like this movie. I like it a lot better than 3. Mike was talking about how this felt a little disjointed. I think I feel that way about 3. And
See, I don't know how you feel that way. 'Cause
I think
3
some of it might be.
3 had a beginning and end. I mean, it was pretty.
I just
like,
felt it was a little too much. I do have some problems with this movie, particularly the villain. The whole series works best when there is an equivalent to John Wick on a skill level can compete with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know that
yeah.
he's going to best
Yeah, feel
whoever
like
it
that, yeah.
is. The point to get to that is what we want to look at. But the villain in this one was just like, hey, I'm just kind of like the slimy, I'm manipulating things and
He's the CEO, basically.
yeah.
And have
I
every-
was kind of hoping he was going to step up and like,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
then it's just
fight
like,
the
well,
fight.
hey, you're gonna do all this for me, Donnie Yen, Mr.
yeah, he was
Blind.
basically his
Like,
proxy.
Mr. Blind
which
Man.
I didn't like. I agree with you 100%.
And I think that really is my problem with this movie. And then also the tracker, because again, you should have brought Common back. Like that would have made more sense. Like even if Common's character wasn't as aggro as he was in the second movie, that character still could have been that in that role.
And like you said, he never died. He didn't die on camera.
And you also do the dog thing again, which was the whole point of the third movie. It's like I don't like that. Not to say it wasn't good or anything. It's just you already tried that trick once. Yeah, it was like Halle Berry's character. She had
Yeah,
two
Halle
of them.
Berry's character had 2.
Is she a
of those
tracker too,
dogs.
or
No, she was just helping
No,
John Wick.
She's
Or-
different character,
Yeah.
but she had the dogs, and the dogs became a standout.
And it's kind of
I
like the
need to
same
watch
thing. It's
the
like
movie.
nuts.
I need to watch 3 then. 'Cause
But-
it seemed like I missed.
3, I like 3.
I will say that this is just violence porn, and it is good. It is a little bit long. like, I can say that because it's somewhere in that 20, 30 minutes range before it starts kicking off. And then that second act, there's a big lull of nothing going on. And then it ramps up to the end where it's basically that whole, the Arc de Triomphe, whatever it's called, and then kind of ramping up to John Wick flying down the stairs.
I'm sorry.
And
That
I
was
was
the funniest shit.
I thought he was
love
just
my
get kicked
cartoons,
down
man.
one. It's just like, no, then he had it happen again. like, I'm like, yo.
Your boy got dropped in a flight
And
step.
I will say maybe the ending was a little anticlimactic. And I understand the whole duel thing, that it's the respectability part, but I would have rather have the villain face off against John Wick.
Right.
They didn't have to destroy Osaka like that. That's BS. First of all,
Sokka had it coming.
no.
Yeah, and plus I like Sonata too, man. A lot. He always plays a cool ass character.
The movie has issues, but I like it more than that third movie. And I think that's score will be a good score, but it won't be as high as John Wick 2. And I know we had that discussion the last time of like, why do you like that movie? I think structurally and flow wise, from John Wick 1 to John Wick 2, there's a progression. John Wick 3, I just felt it was a little over the top. This one feels more in line with the second one to me. So, thoughts? Any follow up?
This one's more in line with the second one. If you think 3's over the top, this feels about over the top too. Because 3 literally picked up where 2 left off. That's why I don't understand how you couldn't like 3.
There's just something about it.
True continuation straight through. Like you
With
can
the
go to
Halle
end of 1 straight to 2, and 2 straight to 3.
Something about that third one I just don't like.
They were going all over the place too much. I mean, what was it
Yeah,
like? He
I
didn't
wanna
and he
say
was
is
traveling
that
around the world.
John Wick 1 is a fairly self-contained movie. It's like, hey, well, Russian bad guys, let's go get the bad guys. They killed my dog, and that's it. Second one obviously picks up kind of right after the whole events of John Wick 1 and then ramps up and then sets up consequences. I feel that the consequences that came out of 3 or came into play in the 3 just weren't in line with the second movie. The whole point of that third movie is because of the things that happened in the first movie and the second movie. I just didn't like it. So if this one was the third movie, yeah, I'm fine with it. Let's go to scores. Matt, does it get a 10 because Donnie is in it?
To the 10, gotta admit, action scenes were good.
I knew it.
Introduction of characters were good. And you know what? It was 2 hours and 45 minutes. Only felt like 90 minutes. If you can watch all that other movies that are out, they're just as long and just as bad. You should be able to tolerate this movie. And not even tolerate it, but enjoy it. Good movie. 10 out of 10. Keep them coming.
Keith.
I'll definitely be watching this movie again in the comfort of my own home, and with the ability to pause so I can take a bathroom break. There were too many lulls in the actual story and how the movie was progressing, but the action scenes and the sort of violence porn that was being displayed was on point. Like, and every single act had a unique kind of theme in terms of the action and what was going on. Osaka was very kinetic. It was moving around and trying to elude and escape. At the same time, you had these pretty much bulletproof enemies that you had to deal with. It was all movement. He had to get from point A to point B, and he had to keep moving. He couldn't stop for a second. Each one of the acts had his own rhythm, and I thought it kept in time with how the rhythm. Stuntman did a fantastic job. Scott Adkins, freaking Donnie Yen, Keanu, they all did phenomenal jobs of phenomenal work. I do wish the villain lived up to what we were seeing on screen from everyone else.
Again, they talk about High Table and like the whole structure of it.
I was hoping we would see more about the High Table. They peeled another little layer off, and if they were trying to really wrap things up or set things up for the other sequels or for expanding the universe, they didn't set the High Table up any further or kind of give us anything more to that. It's good enough, but too long. So I'll give this movie an 8. It could have been a 10, but like I said, a bit too long for me and everything. So I'll give it an 8, solid 8.
Jay.
I give it a 9. I give this movie a 9. I just say it was very enjoyable. I enjoyed the universe. I could see that they could build off of it and create something new, something fresh. I agree with Matt. I like the introduction of new characters. Everyone played a position, played a role, and it worked out. There was no one there, in my opinion, that was just there just to be there outside of Tracker. Even though I liked him, but I still don't understand his purpose. It just didn't make sense. He was just another foil, just to be there, I guess, just to add another layer to the story. The action was great. One thing that I enjoyed more so than anything was how there was basically like a civil war amongst, I ain't gonna say the table, but like the houses, like the Continental, things like that. It's like certain people would align with John, try to help John, and then others were like, "No, we ain't helping you. We're coming after you." And I thought that was kind of cool because I guess he's so well respected, or they already had like issues with the High Table or something. I don't
Baba
understand.
Yaga. He's
Oh,
the Baba Yaga.
because of the respect, or maybe they had their own internal issues with the High Table, be for John or against John, which I thought was a nice aspect to the story. So the only complaint I have, and everyone said this except for Mike and Matt, It was just too long. They could have just shaved off at least 30, 45 minutes of it. They could have cut down the damn stairs, man. Like, damn, we understand that he fell down some stairs. I thought that shit was on a loop after a while because it was just like, how the hell you survive all those damn stairs for one? I mean, he takes a beating throughout the whole movie, which I enjoy because it's realistic. It's no way that a person that is an assassin that has assassins coming after him that he's not going to get beat up to. It's impossible. And I like that they showed the realism of the fights. And also seeing some shit that I know in there as well kind of got me hyped. So I give it a 9. He had to be using Krav Maga.
James is a deadly weapon. He and Mike.
I am not. Shit, Mike's more deadly than me. What the hell are you talking about?
Mike decided to make a career out of it and take it to the streets. So, Mike, what score would you give John Wick?
9.5. That story thing is still kind of irking me a little bit. So I get past that, I can't give a 10. I understand what y'all are saying about the table, but I think they gave you enough of a tidbit about the table for why you don't get more. Starting from the elder at the beginning who told John, if you kill me, it makes no difference. They'll just replace me like they did the one before me. And then Winston kind of said with him the same thing at the gravesite. Kind of like, everybody's suffering the consequences now, so what's your plan? And he's like, I'm going to kill them all. He's like, how? They're just going to keep replacing people. That's basically how it's going to continue to work. If you saw Clancy Brown, he had the same ring finger missing that John has missing. So he pledged his fealty. And then Kane told dude, they didn't take my eyes. I gave them my eyes. That was his fealty. So I don't think they gave you more of the table to kind of keep the mystery going, but to kind of just show you a little bit more to let you know that no matter what anybody does, the table is going to always exist, I think is the point. And I think that's the point Winston was trying to make to John. Until you literally get from under these dudes, this shit will never end. You're not going to kill everybody. Like, this is going to go on forever. So you need to figure out what the hell you're going to do, because now everybody else is starting to die and suffer the consequences of your actions. I think that was the whole point of that. I know Ballerina's coming out. That's supposed to take place between 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Continental Series for Amazon Prime. So that's supposed to take place, and that's supposed to be like back in the 70s, kind of showing Winston and his arrival at Continental Hotel and all that. And there was supposed to be a 5. Don't know if that's still going to be the case. The introduction of new characters, they're showing you more Continentals, different aspects of everything. They built enough of a universe that if the John Wick aspect of it is done, you can still carry it forward if you keep the same formula. And telling a new story might not be a bad idea. I'm on board for it.
Stand to see more of this, particularly Ballerina.
Yeah, it's done. If I'm not mistaken, coming out later on this year. Because I know Lance Reddick shot all his scenes for that, and Keanu, I know he did his. So I think Anna De Armas already said that most of it's done. Should see that pretty soon. I was having a conversation with B when I said Hollywood, unfortunately, still kind of has an old guard in place. So I think stuff like this that could have been done years ago, that they just kind of blocked or weren't receptive to, and now become kind of the new norm, which is a good thing because it's a fresh take. Wouldn't have got action like this 10 years ago, probably. Well, I don't know. When did we say John Wick 1 came out? 2014?
Before that, you would have had Taken. I mean, that would probably been the next equivalent.
Hold up, The Raid. The
No,
Raid
I've
wasn't
got it.
Hollywood made either, so.
Versus Hollywood. I mean, that's Taken and Tom Cruise, basically. And Taken kind of kicked off this kind of kicked off this ultra violent revenge story without it being romanticized, and you have to have John Wick falling in love with somebody, and then she turns on him, and that's what normally happens in these types of movies.
Well,
Taken
this
was
is a man's movie right here. I'm sorry. This is a man's movie. This is the movie that you let your nuts hang. Okay?
James and the hot takes. All right, man.
Is it not? Is it not? You telling me after you saw this shit or you watch any John Wick movie, you don't feel like kicking the shit out of somebody?
No, I feel like
Yeah, you do come out of that.
It's like when we went to go see 300.
Right. We go see 300.
James out on the train like, yo.
Trash cans and shit. This is Sparta. Boom. This is a man's movie. This is a testosterone ride, man. That don't sound right, but you know what I mean. It's just, you feel it. And it's good to feel shit like that, especially now because of how things are shaping up. That's a whole nother podcast.
I'm going to give this an 8. And again, I have issues with this, mainly with the tracker, the villain, the length, just kind of my overall feeling about this movie versus 3. Again, if I put it in order, I would put John Wick 2, this movie, maybe put this in the first movie together. 2A slot. A distant fourth, the third movie.
Well, I haven't seen it.
I just felt it deviated a little too much. Mark Dukakis, like whatever his last name is, Dukaka.
Brian Freeman.
Shit, I thought I was the only person who watched that movie.
No, I think Mike and I watched it.
This movie's enjoyable, and it is good to see Keanu Reeves doing something. Because his last outing, which was that trash Matrix movie, like how he got roped in to do that.
Oh, damn. You know what? I completely forgot about that movie.
When he was doing good stuff. The Bill and Ted thing screwed up by COVID. But he was doing John Wick 2, maybe some smaller movies, and then Bill and Ted's. Somehow, some way, you got roped into doing a Matrix that was supposed to be a reboot. And like even with that, if you look at that compared to the villain's doing almost the same thing in this movie. I wish he didn't die. Or if it's alluded to that he has found peace and has moved on.
But did he die?
I didn't like that ending. If he died or like whatever happens, if he shows up and ballerinas after this, like whatever that is, I can do with a lot more John Wick based content as long as it does not deviate
The formula.
Yeah, because again, if you look at like all the stuff that we complain about with current TV show, hey, well, you have all these characters that don't mean anything when the show is supposed to be about said character. When all that starts deviating a little too much, you start watering down things. Things like Boba Fett happen. It's like, what was the purpose of that? Obi-Wan happened. What was the purpose of that? Rings of Power. What was the purpose of that? You need to be coming with the hits like the Game of Thrones sequel. The first cross-eyed person. I can stand and watch this maybe in 2 parts. The length is a problem, but the movie compensates for the things that you get to see when it does ramp up. And I think that's what the balance is with this one. And why I kind of rate it highly more than the third one. Again, it's like what you do see and what you do get out of it. When it does what it needs to do, when it is John Wick, and John Wick's on his mission, do something. And like even the camera work was good. So it was like that one scene where I guess he was in the mansion or something.
The overhead shot.
Yeah, and it's just like
that was
the overhead video game, basically. Of John Wick going from room to room, destroying dudes.
Yeah, that was extremely clever.
Smash TV, the video game.
So that's the Beast Game podcast, and go see John Wick. So let's just go ahead and talk about spoilers. Go ahead.
Dies, and they kind of get that little blurb where it looks like his dog looks up, and that might be him or whatever. It was extremely anticlimactic when he's like, it's done, and he just kind of stumbles down the steps, and what the heck is going on here? Changing the focus here. Like, it was just like, he's dead?
But did he die?
I mean, no, he didn't die. But it was just like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, personally, go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
That's my thing. I was like, what the heck is happening here? Like, why are we doing it this way?
Well, I think because they want to get the illusion that he died because basically this chapter of his story is over. He did what he had to do to basically clean his record. Like, they're not going to fuck with him no more. Like, he has no affiliation. Free. Yeah, no affiliation. The symbolic thing is that he's dead. I think he's still alive. It's just that he's dead, if that makes any sense. Live a whole nother life, but then somehow, some way be brought back in. And I don't know what the hell. What's this ballerina things y'all talking about?
So they have a spinoff, the female-led.
But how do y'all know about it? I mean,
you have to watch the third movie. He talks about it.
God damn it! Everything. Did I miss that much?
It's not like a secret. It's been in the news, and then they've been planning it. The next evolution of this world universe is let's start introducing other continentals, other characters.
Jay, I can explain it to you kind of easy. All right, in this one when he went to Berlin and he got the brand on his forearm.
Yeah.
It's basically about that whole group, that family that he was in. But you do need to see the third one. But it's going to have to do with those people. You just got to watch it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it right after this podcast. Because obviously I've missed the whole shit ton.
Are affiliated with the people in the fourth one that are in Berlin, basically. The Belarus, his family that he was in. So it's supposed to delve into that whole world, and Ana de Armas is supposed to be the main character or whatever. So Keanu will show up in it. It's supposed to take place between 3 and 4, which is why Lance Reddick's character is still around and Keanu's in it.
Okay. All right.
So that's that. Whether or not he's dead, I'm still unsure. I said no when I first saw the movie, only because the dog kind of closed his mouth and looked up, and I said, okay, I don't think he's dead. I think it's dead in the sense of he faked his death
Yeah,
and
exactly.
is going to live his life.
But
'cause-
I mean, the thing is that at this point there wouldn't be any reason to. I'm just
Right,
saying, Bill
Bill Skarsgård
Skarsgård.
the table to not come back for him, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, so Bill Skarsgård made that deal with him that everything is absolved if you beat me.
He didn't beat him.
He did kill
He
him.
killed him.
Well, the
Bitch
whole thing
ass.
was a duel. Set it up as we did it the old way, and the old way is the honorable way. So, in order to win your freedom, we went to a duel, and that's how the end happened.
I would have assumed, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But he would have been the one dueling. You know what I'm saying? Not Donnie Yen. To me, that was some bitch shit.
Well, remember, he said at the table that Kane was going to fight for him.
Yeah, but why?
John
Like-
decided that, I mean, he ain't had nobody. I mean, what the fuck, he's going to tell Winston he's going to fight? No, but...
No. But you know, it's like, I challenge you.
That
Like, just say,
that the Marquis is not as savage or as about it as he says he is.
That's
He
what
knows
I'm
he
saying.
can't
Bitch
beat
made.
No, that's what I'm saying. He knows he can't beat John. John's killing everybody, no matter what the hell anybody does. Kane, though, and that's what I was trying to say to Barry earlier, was when you said about the enemy not being equal. I think Kane was supposed to represent that equal.
In context of Common one goal was to kill John Wick. This one was, hey, well, I have this outside element that's influencing me. Don't want to do it, even though I respect John Wick.
He was kind of like forced. He was
No, I mean, he
forced
definitely
into
was
doing that
forced.
shit.
And then you also have the tracker that obviously was trying to kill John Wick. John Wick theoretically should be wanting to kill him. And then it's just like, oh, nah. The approach to these characters kind of water the movie down from what it could be if it was all...
But do you think John didn't kill him because he didn't kill John in Osaka? Because remember, he had a shot.
The tracker was raising the price, make money for himself. He was in it for himself and his dog, but
Basically manipulating the bounty and basically manipulating the fucking whatever his name is, the head dude.
Marquis.
Yeah, he was kind of bitching him.
like when I hear Marquis, I'm talking about Star Trek. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of cool to call him Marquis.
Because
Like, 'cause I
he
thought
told-
Marquis de Sade. I think that's where they got it from. Oh shit.
but go ahead, Mike.
John told Kane he owes me. Or what he said, you owe me before he walked down the step. That was the only other thing. I'm like, why would you tell the dude he owe you unless he didn't know he was getting ready to die? No, I just don't think he did. Like, I don't see this dude falling off 3 buildings and all the shit he went through and he ain't dying. He dying off that gunshot. Like, he had that wound in 3.
Yeah, I mean, he got
Yeah.
shot a whole bunch of times. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, sorry, I'm having a hard time believing this dude's dead.
Anything, I think he may have passed out from exhaustion
Yeah,
because that
that's
nigga
it.
was getting his ass.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, those steps alone, that shit was exhausting for me just watching it. So I can just imagine what it was like for him going down the motherfuckers. Not once, but fucking twice, dude.
Yeah, they did kind of
Twice.
screw him up. Like, they did kind of get him. Like, yo.
And then, Matt, what do you want to know about the post-credit scene?
So remember that girl who got shot in the abdomen?
Koji's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end, Donnie Yen's daughter's free and she's playing the piano or the violin or whatever. And Donnie Yen's like walking up to his daughter, and then coming the opposite way is that girl. And then she brings out a knife. But of course, he doesn't see it because he can't see. Screen fades to black.
Yeah, so they don't show you what happens. I mean, he told her in the movie, he said, I'll be waiting. But what he said, I'll see you later on.
It can be a Donnie Yen movie.
I mean, she might be a part of the TV show, rebuilding Osaka Continental, doing Bullet Train.
As skilled as Kane is, I don't see her just being able to walk up on him like that and stab him, and that's it. So that's just my take. I don't see that.
Yeah.
It would just be that easy. Don't make sense.
If that's the case, he would have been dead a long time ago.
I think Donnie did such a good job. You can literally do a Kane movie, and I'd be on board. And if not a movie, at least a series. I'd be fine with that. But maybe, like Barry said, maybe she shouldn't have been on the show because, I mean, if her father's dead, clearly she would be running Continental now. So, I mean, if all the business in Kentucky is done and Winston got the New York one rebuilt, maybe Osaka's undeconsecrated. I don't know. We have to see. I have to give her credit, though. She did good for a fucking British pop singer who ain't never acted before.
Okay.
That was like her first movie, and she was fighting like a champ, man.
She said
Well,
that
when
she
you
was
get-
living
you
home
get
and Chad
trained.
called her. Yeah, said Chad called him and was like, hey, I got this role I want you to play. And said she was going to do it. Said next thing you know, for 5 weeks, she was with Keanu and them fighting and shooting guns, training, and learn how to shoot a bow and arrow. Said, shit could have fooled me. I mean, he did good to me.